DisneyGirlsMom.com, and we are here today to talk to you about...
Wait. Guess what we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about your choice of fashion.
No.
Your God complex.
Let's later.
Okay. We are going to talk today about the Candlelight Processional.
That is correct.
EPCOT.
Excellent guess from the clues.
Excellent guess. We might want to blow that out. It smells like the luau, and that's a whole nother topic.
Well, it's a Yankee candle, and as you all know, the Candlelight Processional is located in EPCOT near the American Pavilion. Yankee, get it? American? See, that was another clue. Yankee and Candlelight Processional in the room.
Kind of a stretch there, kind of a stretch. So basically what we're here to do is to give you all of the information that you need. Are you finished burning down the house?
You'll notice that the alarm hasn't gone off.
It has not.
Because it's set to bacon.
Unlike when I cook, yes.
Yankee, candle, the robe. We're talking about...
We are talking about the Candlelight Processional at EPCOT.
Okay, the hard work was me coming up with this clever costume to entice you to talk about this.
So let's talk about it.
Okay.
I get asked a lot of times by family and friends that are planning Walt Disney World vacation trips.
Over the holidays.
Over the holidays. What is there to do? What is special over the holidays that I shouldn't miss? I always tell them the Candlelight Processional because it is my all-time favorite holiday activity at Walt Disney World. But there are people that don't know what it is. Well, what does that mean, Candlelight Processional? Are people just marching around the park holding candles?
Is it some restaurant, like a kids' parade at
They don't know.
Or?
So let me start by saying that the Candlelight Processional is a retelling of the story of the Nativity, the birth of Jesus, the trip that Mary and Joseph made, the coming of the three wise men, and it is told by...
And this isn't just like Belle's Story Hour, one person reading a book.
Well, it is one person reading. There is one celebrity narrator that tells the story, and then that narrator is accompanied by an orchestra, a choir of people.
And a group of singers.
A group of singers. It is just a beautiful, spiritual, classic retelling of the birth of Jesus.
And this is at Disneyland, and at Disney World, it's in EPCOT.
It is in EPCOT.
At the pavilion by the American Showcase.
Yes, and it takes place every night, 3 times a night, between Thanksgiving and December the 31st. There are 3 shows.
And the speakers change?
The speakers change. Usually a celebrity will come and they'll do 2 or 3 days.
But they're there for all the shows that day.
They are there for all of the shows on their given day. And the speakers really run the gamut. I mean, they are all celebrities, but they're from all walks of life. Some are singers, some are television actors, some are Broadway performers. You will find someone that whose name you recognize. Everybody from Christian music singers, country music singers, Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris was just there this past weekend. Still yet to come.
Commander Adama from Battlestar Galactica, Edward James
Olmos is still coming up.
Who does it in English and in Spanish.
He does incorporate Spanish.
The lady with the sign language.
Marley Matlin, who does it in sign language. But you will find over the next several weeks through the month of December, Whoopi Goldberg, LeVar Burton, as you said, Edward James Olmos, Isabella Rossellini, Blair Underwood, and Stephen Curtis Chapman. There is just a huge range of talent and performers that are all there to retell this story, and it really is beautiful. A lot of times they incorporate some of their personal stories.
You see them dancing.
You see them dancing,
singing. They all tell a personal story.
They all tell a personal story. They talk about either their affection for the season, their affection for doing this. Gary Sinise talked about his love of his veterans projects that he did. So they all do.
Who was there? It was telling us they just had a baby born.
That was John O'Hurley, who the baby hadn't been born yet. He asked the audience if they could please keep him and his wife in our prayers because the baby was due like any minute. He was hoping that he actually made it back home from California before his wife went into labor.
Which is a good point. Like, we've seen Edward James Olmos on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. You cannot book next year Christmas Eve expecting Edward James Olmos to be there.
No, the celebrities can change every year. Like Gary Sinise is not there at all this year. So you will see different celebrities. I know some celebrities, and most of the celebrities that do it really love doing it, and they do come back.
And you can tell when you see their performance.
Yeah, but sometimes schedules just don't permit it. Or if, if they can't be there Christmas Eve, they'll come another time. So you don't want to plan next year's Christmas Vacation because Neil Patrick Harris did the candlelight this past weekend, because he might not have the same weekend next year if he's there at all. So you can't really guarantee that. So that's the first part of it. The second thing people want to know is, how much extra is this going to cost me? The reality of it is zero. It doesn't cost anything to go to the Candlelight Processional. However,
Well, can I fast pass it?
you cannot fast pass it.
Okay. So how do I ensure that I get a seat at this event? Because it sounds like it's very popular.
It is very popular, and the closer it is to Christmas, as the crowds at the theme parks themselves start to grow, it is harder to get a seat in there. You do not have to buy a ticket for the candlelight. You can hear the show, even if you can't see it because you can't get a seat. You can hear the show as you walk past. There's usually plenty of standing room at the back of the theater. But if you absolutely want to guarantee that you have a seat inside the theater for the show, you want to book the Candlelight Processional dinner package.
Well, you could have dinner or lunch, right?
You can have lunch or dinner. That will depend on the show that you want to see. If you want to do the 5 o'clock show, and again, there are 3 shows every night. The 5 o'clock show, you're going to have to do lunch because they schedule your meal before the show.
Now, what you actually do is you go to the restaurant. Well, after you book this, of course.
You do. You have to book it online. You can book it on the phone with a Disney cast member, but you definitely want to get an advanced dining reservation for this.
So you go to the restaurant. They know that you're there for a candlelight package. You order your meal.
Yes.
And then at the end of the meal, you pay your bill, and they hand you your stickers to put on.
Yes.
Which have the show that you're going to. And then you're on your merry way.
You're on your merry way. Again, the shows are at 5 o'clock, 6:45, and 8:15, and your meal time will have to somehow correspond with that show time. So they will not give you a dinner reservation if you're going to the 5 o'clock show. The dinner reservations are reserved for the people that have 6:45 or the
and they're not going to let you book
show.
lunch at 4:30. I mean, they're going to make sure you have time to eat a proper meal.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that you get there in time, because even
We've
if
never
you
been
have,
rushed out the door.
We've never been rushed, but even if you have the dining package, especially if we're talking about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, you know, really, really popular time, you're still going to want to go and get in line. People will start lining up, even those with dining packages, anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes prior to showtime. And again, the 45 minutes is more likely to be over Christmas Vacation. The standby line, especially over Christmas Vacation, those people can line up an hour ahead of time. Now, the way the candlelight package works, the dinner package, is once you have your dinner and you get your sticker, there is a separate entrance for those guests. That line of people will be admitted to the theater before they open the theater up.
Now that line is on both sides, and that line goes from the American Pavilion into Japan, into Morocco. And on the other side, it goes all the way into Italy and Germany.
And if you are looking at the theater, if you're looking at the stage, the people with the dinner packages are going to be in the line on the left. The people with standby are going to be in the line on the right. So again, the people with dinner packages will be admitted almost until the line is gone, and then they will let standby people in. So again, if you have a dinner package and you think on Christmas Eve you can walk up at 8:16 for the 8:15 show, you may not get a seat even though you've purchased a packet. These are not reserved seats. It just gives you priority admission to the theater. So you want to keep that in mind, especially if you're going during a busy time. If you're going to see somebody that's very popular, you still want to be there, you know, give yourself some time to spare.
Now, a discussion on seating, though, is appropriate. This is a holiday event. It's hugely popular. The best way to be considerate, just enjoy the show like this.
Sit close to one another. It is a bench seating. The seat does have a back. But this is not the time to sprawl out and, you know, let the baby lay on the bench next to you and, you know, let your kids have 3 or 4 seats.
Should I move back now?
You should move back now.
You sure?
I'm sure. You should move back. But no, you don't.
Please post in the comments if Anna should have let me stay next to her.
You don't want people, you don't want to take up a lot of room on the bench because it does fill up, and you want to be courteous and make sure that as many people can get into the theater as it can possibly accommodate.
Now, your stroller, you're going to be leaving off to the side.
Yes.
If you have a guest in a wheelchair, they'll put you into a wheelchair accessible area. If you can get out of the wheelchair, that would be much better for the people there.
Yes.
They will let you get down as close as you can, and then you walk over to the seat. They do accommodate that.
Yes.
But this is not the time to be carrying, you know, a big, huge pack-and-play bag and everything else.
Yeah, you don't want to bring a lot of stuff into the theater with you. And again, the closer you are to the holidays, you know, to Christmas and that busy time in between Christmas and New Year's, the theater will be packed. So you don't want to have everything with you. I understand, you have the baby with you, whatever. You want to have the diaper bag, an extra blanket, something while the baby's comfortable, but don't bring the whole mat and spread. There's not going to be room for the mat and everything, which brings us to another important question that I get asked all the time. Is this appropriate for children? I have to say, it really depends on your child. Our oldest daughter, Bridget, loved the Candlelight Processional. She really enjoyed the show. Our middle child used to grumble, even when she was as young as 3 and 4 years old. Why were we making her go to church? It wasn't Sunday. Why did she have to sit there and listen about God? She just didn't like that feeling of being in church and having to sit still and be
Which is
quiet.
funny, because that's the one that we sent away to stage camp.
Well, yeah, but
Who's
again,
performing in the school
she was
plays.
little, and it just, for her, it was difficult for her to sit still, 45 minutes of the show.
Yeah, because she was there on vacation.
And she wanted to be out doing the attractions and seeing things. So it was difficult for her. You're really going to have to gauge how your child is. It might be better the first time you go as a standby. Don't go with the dinner package. And then if you have a child that is antsy and can't sit still or just doesn't want to be there, you can leave the theater. You're not really out the money for the dinner package. Not that you're out the money, because you're going to eat dinner anyway. The dinner package includes an appetizer, an entree, dessert, non-alcoholic beverage, or if you choose like the beer garden, you get the whole buffet, whatever you want,
Now, here's the other thing to consider. EPCOT at the holidays gets busier as you get closer to Christmas week, and then during Christmas week, we recommend you get there for rope drop. So you're there for rope drop. You might be doing a lunch dinner, a meal, or you might be doing a dinner meal, going to one of these shows. Mm-hmm. We've had kids fall asleep during the show. The show is loud. There's a full orchestra in front of you. There's an entire choir of like 150, 200 people singing, plus the Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Something like that they're called. I think I got that right.
Go ahead.
Or close. And then there's, all this stuff going on, and we've had kids fall asleep.
We have.
So, don't be upset if your kids fall asleep. They've had a busy day.
Yeah, and again, the children's meal is not as expensive as the adult meal, and you have to eat anyway. The prices for the meals varies. Lunch at some of the lower tier restaurants like the Beer Garden starts in the $30 range for adults. Meals go all the way up to just over $60 for the dinner at Le Chefs de France, some of the more popular restaurants, some of the more upscale restaurants, I will say. The price is a little bit higher. Tokyo Dining or Teppanyaki Do, you're going to pay a little bit more.
Okay, it's the beginning of December 2014. Can I book candlelight tickets now?
There are still candlelight packages available. The dinner packages are still available, even for Christmas week, not Christmas Day, not Christmas Eve at the moment. And again, I only checked for a party of 4, so you might be able to find something for a party of 2. But we had no trouble at all booking a reservation for, we originally had Rose and Crown. We switched it to Beer Garden for the week after Christmas. So,
If Christmas Day is your day at EPCOT because you already got all the fast passes that you wanted booked and that's the day you're there, you can still standing room only.
Still standing room only. Still,
standby line.
You can even, just to hear the music and the story, you can grab a burger right behind. You can grab a funnel cake and stand. You don't even have to be in the theater. You're still going to be able to hear the show. You're still going to be able to hear the celebrity. You'll see them process in.
Okay, that brings up a good point. If once I get my seat, can I send my husband to go get me a latte and bring it back to me inside the thing? Not that anybody would do this.
Not that anybody would do that.
No.
You can. They ask that you don't reserve seats, but we've gotten into the theater with a little one who all of a sudden has to go to the bathroom. They're not going to tell you can't take your kid to the bathroom, but in general, they don't like you to reserve seats. Again, because it is crowded, they want to get as many people in there as they can. And it's difficult for you to get through the standing room crowd if you leave and now you've got to come back into the theater. So get your snacks, your drinks, whatever you need before you enter the theater. Again, you might be standing in the line, even if you've paid for the dinner package, 20, 30 minutes. So grab your snacks, whatever you need.
Get your potty breaks done.
Get your potty breaks done and then go to the theater. I also want to say if you're on the dining plan, this is 2 credits on the dining plan for the package, the candlelight package. And a couple other things that I wanted to mention because people have asked, why do we stand for the Hallelujah Chorus?
It's a tradition.
Kind of an interesting story there. The Hallelujah Chorus was at one point performed during a show for...
Well, it's first performance.
For a king. I cannot remember which king off the top of my head, but it was performed for a king. During the course of the show, they began to play the Hallelujah Chorus, and the king stood up.
It was King John Veldon.
He might have been adjusting his underwear. We don't really know what the king was doing, but he stood up. And because when the king stands, the subjects are also required to stand. You do not sit while the king is standing. All of the subjects stood up. So from that point forward,
it latched along to the song.
It latched on. People thought, oh, it must be important that you stand. There must be some reverence to it. And the tradition continues. When the Hallelujah Chorus is performed, you will see people during the candlelight procession. They will stand up. So go ahead and stand up.
Feel free to Snopes that.
Feel free to Snopes it. Yeah, it's truth. I don't lie. I tell the truth. And the other thing I want you to be aware of, you don't have to be Christian to go see the show. It's an entertaining show, whether you're Christian or not. We took a friend of ours last year that was not Christian, who happened to love holiday music, really thoroughly enjoyed the show. There is a sing-along part in the show. At one point, the conductor will turn and face the audience, and you will sing Silent Night. If you don't know the words, if your children don't know the words, you have time to brush up. So go ahead and Google the lyrics for Silent Night so that when it is your turn to sing, you can participate with the rest of the audience and sing along with Silent Night.
Chance to brush up on your French Christmas carols?
Well, they started in German. Silent Night, the orchestra and the chorus, the choir performs it in German, and then he turns around and the audience sings it in English.
No, there's a French Christmas carol they do also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Silent Night, the first part of Silent Night is sung in German.
That in of itself is interesting. Teach your children, some multicultural, multi-language songs.
They could learn the languages and learn the songs.
Besides just Feliz Navidad.
They don't do Feliz Navidad.
No, but I mean as an example, because these are other carols around the world that even you listening to Christmas carols since what, July 5th? Thank you, Sirius. No sponsor, and I assure you.
I have not been listening to carols. I like Christmas music. I like Christmas carols. Maybe that's why I love the Candlelight Processional, but it is definitely one of those things. I think it's well worth the money to do it. We do it every single year. I cannot remember the last year that we missed the Candlelight Processional.
Living in Orlando, we've done it multiple times.
We did it multiple times.
Cut on in and you hang out. And
even since we moved to Jersey, we have gone down there with the intention of, let's just keep this trip low key and not make any plans. And at the last minute, we end up calling and getting the dinner package and going over to Candlelight. We did that one year with just you and I. We left the kids with your parents.
Best restaurant to go to for the Candlelight, for meals?
It's really up to personal preference. The one year that we went, and we've recounted this story before in another video, we went to Rose and Crown, and the timing of our dinner happened to be at the same time that the clock struck midnight in the UK. So it officially went from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day.
And they're all walking around wishing everybody happy Christmas.
It was very festive. The waiters and waitresses were so excited. They were hugging and singing, and it was just a very festive place to be. Can't guarantee that will happen every time. It happened at the time that we were there, and it was just fun to be there. It added quite a bit to the event. It definitely did.
So if you happen to book a restaurant meal and you know that it's the holiday turns the clock in there, feel free to turn around and pass the greeting along to the people around there.
Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas.
So brush up on how to say it in the language properly in case you go to Germany.
Yeah. So that is basically what the EPCOT Candlelight Processional is. Definitely a must-do for us.
And it's December 2014, and you can still book it right now.
Absolutely. Get online today. If you have a trip coming up and you've been on the fence, not sure what to do, not sure what it is.
Can I get a hotel?
You can still get hotels.
Can I get park tickets?
You can absolutely get park tickets. But it is definitely one of those holiday things.
Are there any dining packages going on?
Are there any dining packages going on?
Yeah, like one of those things like stay half price and get meals, one of those?
There's no free dining.
Oh, okay.
You're not getting free dining Christmas week.
It's a busy time.
It's busy.
Okay.
Yes.
But I can book dining reservations?
Yes, you can book dining reservations.
Okay. Just not, you might not get the one you want for one time, but be flexible.
You will not get the ones you want because we planned our trip very last minute.
Et tu, Brutus?
So in closing, definitely something that I highly recommend that you do, whether you book the dinner package or if you just go to the standby line or even if you just stand in the back with a funnel cake and listen to the show. Absolutely one of the most beautiful holiday events anywhere around, whether you're at Disney World or anywhere. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I am Beauty Girl's mom, and if you would like to
I'm
subscribe,
Anna from Beauty Girls.
I am Anna from Beauty Girl's mom.
What the
but
thing says.
they know I'm Anna. By
Yeah, but
now.
that's what the text says.
The text says.
If you're going to change it, I got to change the text. That's a lot of work. I work in post-production by myself. Be considerate.
I'm Anna from BeautyGirlsMom.com. If you'd like to subscribe to our videos, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It should be located somewhere down below.
See you real soon.